Hello and welcome back to Chemistry with Kimberly. This is the biochemistry series of videos. These are the answers to lecture video number 2. Question number 1. The functional group present in biogenic amines is... Now normally I would have one answer choice for the correct answer. In this case I realized I made a mistake. The answer choice is actually C and D, because depending on what other compounds these are bound to, it could be either an NH3 or an NH2. They're both amine groups, and thus the name biogenic amines means that these two groups are present. This question was a test of your knowledge of functional groups in biochemistry. So the ones I have listed on the answer choices are a hydroxyl group, a carboxylic acid group, two amine groups, an ammonium group, and an SH group, which is known as a thiol. Question number 2. The general structure of an amino acid contains which functional groups? And I have a number of different choices. Again, testing to make sure that you're not just quickly moving through the questions, that you're actually carefully looking through the choices given. The answer is A, CO2 minus, your carbonyl group, your R group, and your NH3 plus. Now, the charges on both the carbonyl and the amino group of the sections or ends of the amino acid are going to depend on the pH that the amino acid is found in. So an important concept of understanding how these two groups change depending on pH is understanding the concept of isoelectric point, represented by Pi, and that's going to be the pK of one amino acid group plus the pK of another divided by 2. Structurally, an amino acid is going to look something like this. Again, the carboxylic end, the amine end, the charges, the presence or the lack of an additional hydrogen ion is going to depend on the pH of the solution. So you want to make sure you understand how the structure of an amino acid can change based on the pH that the amino acid is present in. Question number 3. The number of purely glucogenic amino acids is, answer is 4, letter F, number 14. There are 14 present. Let me say that again. The number of purely glucogenic amino acids is 14. You need to know that glucogenic means that it is a part of the glucogenic pathway, making glucose. The other designation for amino acids is called ketogenic. This means that these amino acids will degrade to form ketone bodies. There are also amino acids that are both glucogenic and ketogenic, and you'll want to make sure that you understand and you know the difference between the two and which amino acids fall in both categories. Next question. Which hydrophobic amino acid is associated with an increased risk of hepatocellular carcinoma? This was a question of understanding that all of the amino acids have both singular letter designations as well as 3-letter designations. The answer to this one was letter choice G, leucine. Leucine is designated by single letter L or by 3 letters L, E, U. You'll also want to understand the difference between hydrophobic amino acids or water-hating amino acids and hydrophilic or water-loving amino acids. Water-loving amino acids often form hydrogen bonds. Next question. The sulfur test can be used to detect which amino acid of the amino acids present only cysteine has a thiol group or sulfur. So the answer choice is B. For this question, you'll also want to understand and know the different tests that there are for amino acids. Another example of this, as opposed to the sulfur test, is an anhydride test. That tests for the presence of an alpha amino group present on your amino acid. There are also a number of general tests that are used. Make sure you understand all of those. Next question. What does the sentence confounding with hepatitis status mean? Confounding in general means that the presence of one condition increases the probability of another disease or diagnosis. So in this case, a patient diagnosed, represented by DX, with hepatitis C is at increased risk of being diagnosed with hepatocellular carcinoma. That's what confounding means. The presence of one disease or condition increases the odds of developing a second one. Hepatitis C increases the risk of developing hepatocellular carcinoma. Structurally speaking, what are the difference between glutamate and glutamine? Well, glutamate is designated that way. Glutamine is designated this way. Amine, as we learned earlier, means the presence of an amino group, but we already know that all amino acids contain amino groups. Glutamine actually contains an additional amino group. So the structure common to both is as follows. And glutamate has the terminal carboxylic acid group, C double bond O, or CO2 minus for glutamate. But glutamine has an additional amine group. So the difference is at that terminal carbon. With glutamate, there is no NH2. With glutamine, there is an NH2 group. And finally, the intrahepatic bile duct is found in what major body system? Well, this was a test of your basic knowledge of medical terminology, which, especially if you're pre-med, I suggest you enroll in a medical terminology course. Hepatic, meaning liver. The liver is found in the gastrointestinal system, or GI. This concludes the answers to lecture video 2 for biochemistry. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.